Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on hawkradio.org and acrosstheboardradio.com. Listen, we talk about some of the best, not only bands, but musicians in the world, okay? And if you want to talk about, break it down to instruments, let's talk about percussion for a little bit here. Not just drums, but percussion. And if I said, Colonel, who do you think are some of the best drummers, best percussionists performing in the world today? First thing that comes to mind.
Well, two. There's a tie, really, because we had Cindy Blackman on the show, Cindy Blackman Santana, and she's one of my favorite as well. But if you have to say, otherwise, it's definitely Blue Man Group.
Blue Man Group, absolutely. And a great electronic band coming out of Blue Man Group is Überschall, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly. But we have Elvis from Überschall with us right now. Am I saying it right, Elvis?
You said it completely right, yes. Überschall.
Right. Überschall, which is supersonic, correct, in German?
Yeah, it's supersonic, but literally means also above sound. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it has an umlaut, the U,
Yeah.
It's like that.
Überschall. Okay, got it. Nice. Yeah. So, Elvis, talk to us a little bit about, your background. Again, we talked a little bit off air, and you've done...
he's the busiest man in Vegas. He has to be.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour city, but Elvis doesn't understand that. I mean, Elvis, perfect name for Vegas too. But you clearly don't understand that you don't have to be awake and working for 24 hours.
No, you don't have to do that. But the thing is, they say New York is a city that never sleeps. I think Vegas is definitely taken over that. And
I can agree.
Talk about your schedule right now. I mean, with Überschall and Blue Man and Cirque du Soleil and all of these.
Well, when you are in a show, currently I'm working for the Cirque du Soleil, Criss Angel Believe show, the assistant music director and guitar player. We do 10 shows a week, from 5 till 11, 2 shows every day besides Sunday, Monday. And then after that, I'm going to organize my own little events and concerts. So we start 12:30, 1 o'clock, and play till 4 in the morning. And that's people come out in Vegas,
Yeah,
cool.
I would be. If I was there, I'd be there at 4 in the morning to watch you guys. I remember the last time I was in Vegas for 4 days, and I'm not kidding. I think I had 8.5 hours sleep total between those 4 days.
I have a term called Vegas tired. Every time I go to Vegas, which is every February, I usually go for 4 to 5 days as well, and maybe sleep 5 hours tops.
And you're right. Honestly, when we have friends visiting, they just want to drag you out. You have to learn how to say no once in a while because, every other day, hey, man, let's go out, let's party. And they go, okay, I've done it. Yeah. But, probably your party stamina gets good exercise. Yeah, you're right.
A buddy of mine actually used to run the Rock Bar out there, and now he runs what's the PBR Rock Bar, I think it is, because they moved. But, he obviously lives in Vegas as well, but he says that when he's not working, he's not on the Strip. He doesn't hang out on the Strip a lot. I mean, people don't realize that there's an actual city there. It's not just, the Luxor and those.
That's actually one of the most important points why I'm in the city for 12 years now. Vegas has reached a critical mass of looking for its own identity. It's not only about the Strip anymore. And there's great neighborhoods. There's a great local scene right now happening. And it's all kind of new and fresh. So it's actually very exciting. There's great arts district, tons of performing arts, painting, and bands and music, DJs. So it's actually getting very hip, I must say.
Yeah, I found some of the bars and places that I liked, eateries and all of that I liked the most were off the Strip. There are a lot of cool things, and they're not quite as expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
especially downtown. That we're doing Old Vegas now.
Yeah, Old Vegas.
Really hip. Yeah, East Fremont Street. It's a little bit like Bourbon Street and stuff like CBGB's almost. Where live bands play. You can walk. You don't have to take taxis. You're not trapped in a biodome like a casino. Yeah,
yeah, that's very true. And how did the idea to do Überschall come together? I mean, obviously you're busy. I mean, at one point you just said, I don't have quite enough to do. Let's get a band together.
Yeah, no, when you do 10 shows a week, and I did Blooming Group in Boston, New York, Chicago, and moved here to Vegas. I always realized you got to do something else to keep fresh, keep creative. Also, don't lose your street value. When you're too much in one show, you forget how to do other things.
Very true.
So right when we arrived in Vegas, I drove around the UNLV area, the university, and found a little coffee shop, and they had a stage. And I just said, oh, you have bands? Yeah. And of course, Blooming Group, oh, you want a gig? And I didn't even have a band, but I said, yeah, I want a gig. So I had a gig in a week, and I had no band. So that day I went down in the dressing room and said, hey, I've got a gig, who wants to play? And everybody said, yeah, we want to play. And then I just sat down, had a conceptualizing session with the guys, and that's how basically Überschall started.
And how did the concept of the band to have, I mean, obviously I know there's, with the influence of Blue Man Group, but you have 3 drummers, a bassist, and 2 guitarists. Talk about how that idea came together as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, by default, because Blue Man Group has a lot of drummers, and then every drummer wanted to play, and I go like, all right, let's use all of them. And my idea was, though, to switch everything around. We have the drummers actually in front and the string players in the back, which is kind of different, Right. And when I realized we have that many percussion elements, I also thought that would be cool to really try to get into a very tribal electronic DJ vibe. It's very repetitive, like a African drum section. So, and then the other idea, I started film scoring a lot of 20th century composition. For me was let's try to use the string instruments in a way that don't sound like a typical guitar. The less it sounds like a guitar, the better, And there's no solos. It's based on rules of conversation, and we just feed off each other.
Wow.
And so our set's 20 minutes to 40 minutes long, and it really has that trance electronica vibe.
There's no way that could be pulled off by anyone other than members of such a group like Blue Man Group, because there's...
You're right for interrupting, because we are the best rehearsed band ever. We played for 10 years, 10 shows together.
Yeah.
So we know each other's stylistics so well that we can react in a millisecond to somebody else changing something. So it's a very unique scenario. You're right.
Now, Elvis, obviously by your accent, you're from Jersey. I think it's clear.
You saw me on Jersey Shore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How did you find the U.S. And get involved with Blue Man Group and get involved in music in general? I mean, being in Blue Man Group is great because people have heard of that. But being the assistant musical director with Cirque du Soleil, I mean, that's a stratospheric level of accomplishment in the music world. How did you reach that?
It was. I'm from New Jersey, Munich, Germany, and
right.
And I wanted always to play with Frank Zappa back in the day. I was a big Zappa fan.
Okay.
And so I moved to Boston, went to Berklee because a lot of his musicians went through there. But unfortunately, he died on me, and he passed away in '93, I think.
Yeah, it was a while.
So,
yeah.
but I started film scoring. I wanted to go more into film music, and I auditioned for Blue Man Group while I was a student, and I got the part-time position.
That's ballsy. That's great.
And that went from there. I ended up recording the albums with them. We got nominated for the Grammys.
Right.
I played the Grammys with Blue Man Group and Moby and Jill Scott in 2001. So that was my highlight, kind of. And
yeah,
just if you work hard and if you put yourself out there, you might accomplish some of these things. Yeah.
How much do you still practice the guitar every day? Do you? Or, I mean, is you're playing during shows? Is that your practice, or do you wake up in the morning with a cup of coffee and still practice, try to learn some new technique or new song?
You know what? It goes in phases. There's moments, there's months where I play every day a lot, and then there's also months where I just more utilitarian. If I compose something, write something, then I play. But it's also good to step away for a moment, So it goes in phases. It's not like it used to be where I do 5 to 7 hours every day. That's, yeah. And I have a baby now, so I don't even have the time for that.
Whoa. I think there are 28 hours or 32 hours in his day.
Yeah,
I don't know how he
my
does
mind
that.
is blown.
I thought I was the busiest person out there. Wow.
I have an account with a time bank, so you can actually invest in time, and then you get interest on it. So in the end, you have more time.
That's a great idea. That's a concept album
That's
there.
a good, yeah, no doubt. That's definitely a concept album. Now, Elvis, I noticed through research as well that you and I have a few things in common.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, actually, we share our same birthday. I noticed I'm a handful of years younger than you. But the thing is, I had an opportunity back in the day, and this is one of those things where I really kicked myself in the rear for not doing this. But I had an opportunity back in the day to apply for Blue Man Group. I was highly encouraged by someone to do so, and I had fit the requirements at the time because I know you had to have the height restricton and everything as well.
Height, certain weight, look, yeah, and little acting skills and drumming skills. Yeah.
Yes, and I had all of the I was probably pretty qualified, and I didn't do it. It's one of those things. I had a son at the time, and he was very young. I mean, maybe 1-2 years old, and I just couldn't. That would have required moving out to Vegas at the time, and I couldn't do that.
Mr. Chance, man, Mr. Chance.
And so I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from in a lot of this, but not quite to the degree. I mean, I don't have a degree from Berklee or anything, but I mean,
you know what? That's actually the least important thing to have. That I must say. The thing is, you have the opportunity and it's the will to do something. You can. Berklee is a great environment just to be exposed to a lot of different people at a time. You can learn music anywhere if you hook up with the right people and practice a bit. But Blue Man Group is still auditioning constantly for people. They always need Blue Man. So maybe we should try it again.
There you go.
Maybe I might have to now. I'm
trying to steal my co-host here. I see how it is.
It's one of those things where it would be fun, but I think I'd have a lot of work to do. I got to get back. I'd have to get back to the weight requirements. I'm a little off that now.
Now, Elvis, getting back to the music. What type of guitars are you using these days? I've seen some pictures of you with. It's either a Fender, Strat. A Tele, or it's some version of a Tele. Do you just use that? And what's your rig like these days? How do you chase tone?
I have a really nice 1963 Fender Stratocaster, which I got in Munich from a guy who played on all the Milli Vanilli records. Imagine that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Your life story needs to be made into a movie. I'm just saying.
They were German, weren't they?
They were German. They lived in Munich. Yeah. They grew up in Munich, and I saw them in the clubs back in the day. And they couldn't really sing, but Frank Farian produced them just to look good.
Right.
And there they go. And so I use a 63 Stratocaster for Überschall mainly, and I have a Fender Custom Shop amp called Vibrosonic with a 15 speaker, and then use tons of pedals in different combinations just to make weird analog synthesizer sounds or stringy sounds or Moog bass sounds, And I have a kind of I have this sort of talk box that with the microphone I can use it as a gate and a filter. So I have this whole vowel language where you just have the chord ring, but with different rhythms of your mouth and vowels, you can make it sound like a filtered keyboard pad, and it's fun.
Jeez.
It's probably like what Peter Frampton did back in the day.
Yeah, but how do you...
He did, but he uses words, and you feel it, but I'm using it really down bang, so it really makes it affects the tone of the guitar in a way that is that really coming out of the guitar?
Wow. Cool. I haven't heard that. Anybody try that?
How long does it take you to set up your rig then? I mean, that sounds like an hour and a half.
I don't think he sets up his own rig.
Well, I mean, but how long does it take to get?
I have 3 roadies, and they go like 5 hours before the gig. No, I'm kidding. No, it's like two pedal boards, 2 boxes, and if it's wider, right, you just open them up and plug in 5 cables, and then you're all set.
Nice.
The drummers need a little bit longer.
Yeah, they'll need a bit.
Now, let me ask you this then. You mentioned Criss Angel.
Yeah.
Who wins in a fight, Criss Angel or David Blaine?
I have to say Criss Angel.
See, that's what I said.
Yeah, okay. But I think David Blaine, simply because I think Blaine would fight dirty.
No, come on.
He'd be a hair puller. He'd definitely go for Criss Angel's hair. I'm just what I'm saying. We're big fans of Überschall. What we heard from that group as well. But with you being so tied down to Vegas, how is it possible that you're going to be able to tour and people can see you live?
That's a very good question. You know what? In the beginning, we played once a month in Los Angeles, Viper Room, the Roxy, Whiskey, and Dragonfly. We even played the Sundance Film Festival in 2001. We played in San Francisco for New Year's. We can do gigs because we just take 1 day of leave of absence, and I either fly the guys out or we take a bus, and then usually we drive there, play, and drive back the same night.
Oof.
So we've done that, but in the end, it's not easy. So I also see, since a lot of people are coming to Vegas, why just come to see us instead of us coming to you.
That's a good point. Come to your. We'll come to your place instead of you coming to ours.
A show like that, yeah, people will come to see that.
And you said you're at the
Double Down
now. Yeah,
Double Down Saloon. Yeah, it's a great
for
little bar.
Überschall. Yeah, and then Cirque is where?
The Cirque is at the Luxor.
That's the one at the Luxor.
Criss
Yep.
Angel show. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. It's
And Blumen Group is at the Venetian at the moment, but they're going to move to the Monte Carlo casino, I think, by the end of the year.
okay.
Really?
They're everywhere.
Yes.
They're all across the world right now. It's,
Yeah, I got to see.
Yeah, that's true.
I got to see them
They
at
even,
the
I think,
Venetian.
do cruise ships and stuff.
Wow.
That would be a fun gig to go on. Yeah, let's do some Blumen Group on a cruise ship for a couple of months. You know,
right.
Be down in the Caribbean.
Yeah, but you can't take the time off, buddy.
No, I can't. Unfortunately.
You'd be there. You'd still be playing guitar over the phone or something like that for Cirque. You know, just doing this.
Well, nowadays everything is virtual and wireless. Yeah, maybe you can do that.
That's true. In fact, we talked to Fear Factory recently about recording their latest album, The Industrialist. They have no live drummer on the album. It's all a drum
used a
machine.
machine,
It was
yeah.
done afterwards. So
And you can't tell.
yeah, you actually don't need a live musicians apparently sometimes. So
Well, you can do that nowadays. That's true. But in the end, there's a different process. You can do everything in the studio, or have a micromanaging control over everything. But the great thing about Überschall is actually that everybody contributes to it, and things happen that are larger than you can imagine yourself sometimes. Which
good
is
point.
kind of the cool thing about it.
Some is better than the greater than the parts. Exactly.
Exactly.
Elvis, if you knew you had 15 minutes or so left in your life before it all wraps up, what is the last song or piece, any type of piece of music that you would want to hear? It can be yours or anybody else's. And would you hear it or perform it?
Perform it, or
you can.
That's actually the best thing to perform it. I would just love to be on a big stage and just improvise something.
Again,
rather
a new
than
answer.
just saying something that I know. I would just love to be on stage and for 15 minutes. I play also Spanish classical guitar, maybe something like this. Look over the ocean and just play, and then fade away.
Now that's a
great
beautiful
answer.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 3 years. We've never had an answer like that. I love that.
Oh,
And
cool.
then you play Spanish classical guitar. That is tough. That is super. It's just as tough as shredding. I'm trying to learn a little bit myself, but you've got beautiful songs, like Malagueña and
Asturias.
the mariachi song that is from Desperado. They Los Lobos
yeah,
did
it's
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is
if you
that?
have a chance, I have a little clip where I call it Techno Flamenco, where I do just Spanish guitar with a guy on an octopad. I call the band Turbine. Just to do. You can YouTube it. It's kind of cool.
Doing it in a minute here, yes.
What did you want to ask me, though? Sorry.
Oh, no, you answered the question. I was going to say, what's the difference when you play classical Spanish guitar? You're playing with like vinyl gut strings or vinyl strings, right?
Yeah, with nylon strings.
Nylon
exactly.
strings. Yeah, sorry.
And but what I like to do though too,
Tennis.
I mean, there's so many great classical and flamenco guitar players out there. I use actually the Spanish guitar with effects, with echoes and weird filters here too. So and have percussionists with me. So the guitar also gets a different side to utilize it in a different way where you're not how you usually don't see it. And I do another gig every other month at a place downtown, Cocktail Room downtown, which is a percussionist and me, sometimes a flugelhorn player, and we play this electronic techno flamenco thing. It's kind of fun.
Never even heard the term techno flamenco, but got to check it out.
No doubt. That sounds like fun. Elvis, where can everyone keep up with you? I mean, obviously everyone's going to, want to keep up with you after hearing your amazing, incredible
It's impossible
life
to keep
story.
up with him, but yeah.
But how can everyone keep up on everything going on with
You
Überschall
can
and yourself?
definitely, Überschall has a Facebook site. It's UBERSCHALL. You just look it up on Facebook and befriend us, and there I'll regularly check that. We have also a simple website. It's called überschallvegas.com that gives you links to your music and Facebook site, and you can download some stuff. So I think that's the easiest.
Nice.
Do it,
definitely do that.
absolutely. And again, support music like this. Even though you don't get to see him live in your town, go see Überschall, Elvis and the guys. And again, there are current Blue Man members in Überschall. So go see those guys. Go see Cirque du Soleil. Go see Blue Man Group. And anywhere you see Elvis playing, he probably cleans the floor at the clubs he plays as well, just to be there all the time. So anytime you see him,
part of the whole routine. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. You're like, it's too dusty in here. It's changing my tone. But go support these guys and let them know you heard about them here. So we appreciate it, and we'll be back here in a couple minutes on Across the Board. I'm E. He's the Colonel. This is hawkradio.org.
And acrosstheboardradio.com.
Ian Colonel, thank you so much.